By the way, the 49ers lost 2 quarterbacks. They're still winning games. Brock Purdy and Jarrett the Javelin locked in. I guess we're the starter now. Horns in Vegas. 49ers come out on top. San Fran out 12-4. 2 more touchdowns for Purdy, who has Iowa roots just like Broussard. Here's Brandon Aiyuk.
The moment's never too big for him. I think we're not just going out there and trying to put a plan together to where everybody picks up and we kind of hide what he's got going on or he's not ready. He's out there leading 2-minute drives, signaling out wide, changing play calls while we're going in 2 minutes. So, like, today just really showed us that I think this dude is on a different level and he can play for sure.
Wow. That sounds like a comparative statement, Wild. It's different level. Different than whom, I wonder who he's talking about.
He just means in general.
Oh, okay.
It's not a Jimmy G shot.
Got it.
Not at all.
Super Bowl caliber team.
It's an off-the-cuff compliment.
Yeah. Yes, and yes. They are a Super Bowl caliber team. I'll give Nick credit for picking them. And they are still that, Coach, because Brock Purdy is playing like Jimmy G.
No, he's not.
I mean, seriously. Brock Purdy is playing like Jimmy G. Get the ball to the playmakers. Let them do their thing and don't make mistakes for the most part. Now, I know Jimmy G, you can point back, he ran out of the end zone. Jimmy G had 4 interceptions this year. 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 10 games. Brock has 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 6 games.
And yet
he turns it over a little more than Jimmy G, but the key is don't turn it over, make the nice medium and short passes, and that's what Purdy's doing.
Yet, somehow, despite all that, since week 1 of last year, 6 times the Niners defense has allowed 30 points. And only 1 time have they found a way to win that game. And it was the game with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. They were 0 for the last 5 with Jimmy G as the quarterback. And yet somehow the Niners in the last 2 years have had 4 guys throw touchdown passes that went at least 30 yards through the air. And it is currently their running back, Trey Lance, C.J. Beathard, and Brock Purdy. Conspicuously missing from that list is, C.J. Beathard did it, Jimmy G didn't. If you didn't watch yesterday and feel like this is the most dangerous Niners team that we have seen under Kyle Shanahan, I don't know what to tell you. Because the defense, listen, the defense yesterday was not great, but we know the defense is dominant. And Brock Purdy opens up a level to the offense that Jimmy G did not.
Does Purdy or does Christian McCaffrey?
I don't know.
like Purdy, but Christian McCaffrey was not there for Jimmy G. He wasn't like this. He's got his 3 100-yard rushing games in the last 4 games, all with Brock Purdy.
Yes, but my point is this. Because with
Jimmy
Purdy,
G was holding
the
back
defense
McCaffrey.
has to respect the deep ball. And against Jimmy G, they get to play it like the whole field is constricted. People play the Niners like they're continuously in the red zone, where you have the back line helping you, Coach, because Jimmy G's not going to take deep shots. Purdy is. It opens everything up.
Look, I think the Raiders made a lot of people feel good this year, and you cited one of the trends that they broke. But this is a quarterback that scored 34 points who hasn't really started any games with Stidham. So that gives you some concern. And then when you look at Purdy, what he's done has been incredible. He's got 3 100 quarterback ratings out of 5, and his lowest was 88. It's pretty amazing for the guy coming in the way that he has. I'd say that the biggest fear is there are those balls that haven't been converted to turnovers, but could have very easily been converted.
Away with a couple yesterday.
Through the time that he started, there's been like 4 or 5 times where balls been dropped that he just made poor decisions.
That's where it reminds you of Jimmy G.
You're hoping that's that's not going to increase as the pressure increases with these games.
Okay. Coming up next, Nick will give me an apology. Written with a feathered pen.
Beautiful.
Go. All of a sudden up for grabs. Here are some scenarios. Eagles clinch. If they beat the Giants or the Cowboys lose and the 49ers lose, 49ers need to win and have the Eagles lose, and the Cowboys need to win and have everybody else lose. Now, Gardner was okay, but has lost 2 in a row. Coach Mangione, what do you mean? Oh.
Gardner threw a pick 6 to lose him the game.
He was okay.
I don't think he was okay.
I classified it as okay.
Gardner I disagree. I think
he didn't play
terrible.
Great, but he didn't play
they scored
terrible.
10 points. He threw a pick 6 to lose him the game.
That's fine. Dusty, did he play okay?
No, he did.
He was horrible.
We'll edit that out. I thought he played okay. Super Bowl champion Coach Mangione is here.
Mac Jones.
Nick?
Yeah.
What's it got to do with Mac Jones?
Low standards.
Mac Jones is about to be going to the playoffs.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Dirty talk.
Okay, sorry. That's all right.
How concerned are you with Philly's struggles?
Oh, I'm not concerned. I mean,
Oh, you were right.
I mean, I just get to be right again.
Yeah, Mr.
It's
Right.
a nice thing. How many times we got to see the example of the team that jumps out to a crazy hot start, looks like a juggernaut, but you're like,
Nobody
Don't know
was
if I
like,
should believe in 'em.
except you.
Yeah,
You're the
well-
only guy who was like,
Who could have seen it coming? We saw it happen with the Ravens in 2019, then we saw it happen to Pittsburgh 2 years ago, then we saw it happen to Arizona last year, and now they are banged up at the wrong time. They peaked too early. Their quarterback's hurt. They're unproven in the postseason, and all of a sudden, by the way, did New Orleans run for 130 and complete 85% of their passes? They did. Now, because the Giants are locked into the 6th spot, we'll see if the Giants play or not, if they play their guys or not. So the Eagles could end up the 1 seed either way. But this team is absolutely plowing towards a one-and-done postseason. And it has looked like that for the better part of a month. And I don't know why you're so shocked, Drew, except for the fact that they're one of your co-NFC Super Bowl picks, along with the Packers. Drew's
I
got
had
a
one
third
in
of
the
the field.
preseason, and once it looked like the Packers were
Yeah,
done.
once it looked like the Eagles were the best team, I picked them.
You
That's a good way to
threw it in there like as an aside.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that knows Jalen Hurts isn't playing?
But is
like,
he
you brought up
healed?
the Ravens of 19 and the Steelers
Yeah.
of 20. They didn't lose their quarter. Now, if Jalen's out or severely compromised and plays, I'll give you that.
But he's hurt right now.
Well, but I'm assuming he's coming back at
And going to be 100%?
90-ish%.
Why are you
85-ish%.
assuming that?
Well, we'll see
shoulder
if he
injury.
plays.
Okay.
All right, but if he's fine, of course, if he's out there in trouble. If he's fine, I'm not too concerned. They're not a lot, of course. But here's the difference. First of all, Coach, they almost beat Dallas with Gardner Minshew. All right, let's not forget that. I know yesterday was bad, and the Saints are playing better football, but they almost beat Dallas, and they had 5 turnovers in the last 2 games. What has been the key, a big key, for Philadelphia this season? They don't turn the ball over.
True.
They had 13 turnovers in the first 14 games.
It was a mirage.
No, it wasn't.
No, they're
Jalen Hurts, when Jalen comes back, he will not turn the ball over like Minshew has. That's the difference. That's why the defense has struggled a bit.
Against the Bears? Didn't Jalen have 2 picks against the Bears?
So you think that's who he is
I
now?
think that that he was not the most turnover, what's the opposite of prone, unlikely quarterback in NFL history. I think they were running hot. I think they were running hot on
For 12
turnovers, on injuries, all of these things.
The
and
defense
the regression,
is great.
They're great at getting to the quarterback and forcing turnovers.
Well,
I do think
Gardner Johnson
that the
coming
regression
back.
was coming
Josh
and it hit him
Sweat's
in the
coming
face.
back.
Look, it concerns me that they've lost 2 straight, and you do have to take into the quarterback situation as part of this. But to me, what's disappointing is they were known as a complete team. They're top 10 in almost every offensive category, every defensive category, the turnover difference, all those things were coming into play. In the last 2 games, it's been a different story. And pull up the graphic. Just take a look at the different approach here. So the 13-1. Versus 0-2, and I know you love this, but look at the difference in rushing attempts. Okay,
Yes.
so it's 33 down to 22. The yards per carry is down significantly, and the average time of possession. They haven't been very good defensively on 3rd down either. So I would have thought that even without Jalen Hurts, the rest of the team could rally around. And maybe Dallas was a little bit too much to ask for, but definitely against
the Saints.
The Saints. And it's hard when you've had success as long as they have to maintain that momentum. But I think they could have maintained that momentum if they just stayed true to their character and continue to run the ball and control the clock.
Go ahead, Brew.
Look, and I think, Coach, you understand this. Jalen Hurts is not just a versatile running quarterback. He's not just an accurate passer. He is the heartbeat of that squad. Like, he's a leader. And I think they're not only missing what he brings physically, but I think they're missing whatever he says in the locker room, whatever he says in the huddle.
He can still talk in the locker room.
Yeah, but it's not the same if you're not out there. His presence, to me, is huge
I agree
on
with
that
you,
team. And I think that's part of it, too.
But one of my concerns for them is when he comes, the reason those rushing numbers, part of the reason are what they are now without him, is because he is their best power back. He is their short yardage back. He is the reason they have hacked 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. We saw Gardner try it yesterday and just get pushed backwards. So if your quarterback has an injury that he's missed multiple weeks with in his throwing shoulder, are we still doing quarterback power to pick up a key first down? Are we still doing the rugby scrum on 4th and 1, or do we have to be more cautious with him? And if you do, then all of a sudden they're not the same team.
Well, look, if they can secure the #1 seed and get the bye, and he doesn't have to play this week, then we're talking about a lot of time between the injury and when he has to actually play another meaningful game. Now, he may not be the guy that we've seen to this point, but I think the injury will be less of an issue than if they don't have that #1 seed. And he's got to play quickly.
Nick Sirianni should be able to get a win without Jalen Hurts.
I think they're 14-point favorites against the Giants.
And the last thing you want to do,
the Giants aren't going to play?
Correct.
The last thing you want to do is limp into the playoffs. You don't want to go into the playoffs riding an 0-3 streak. That's terrible.
I thought Daboll was going to play his guys.
Vegas doesn't believe him.
He should play
he's saying he is. We'll talk about them later.